Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. Today is the 13th day of January, and every so often I get like a notification of sorts of it being the International Day of, or the National Day of, or the what have you. How many of you know that the 13th day of January is Make Your Dreams Come True Day? Which, well, that's awesome, I guess. The other noteworthy thing is today is Rubber Ducky Day, and you'll see in the background there's a drawing from Abby who did that. It's actually based on one of these Hot Wheels cars. This one's called Duck and Roll. That is awesome. So, let's do a drawing, I guess, and see what we can come up with off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know. There's weird things that can float around inside your skull, so let's do a Rubber Ducky Day thing. I'm gonna go to this spot right here, see if it'll kind of lock down. Ooh, yeah. Here we go. I like to start with the eyes, of course. I'm going to do this kind of lightly, and that way I can go back and revisit it with some... Now, does that actually look focused or not? Come on, technology. Oh. And then I can revisit it with a bit more detail. So I'm giving it an eye that looks like this. Ooh. I already have like a tear duct here. Not that, this creature deserves tear ducts. I think often you see those like round, glowy light reflections in eyes. Let's do something outrageous. I don't know if you can see that coming through. I'm going to twist in a little bit of squaring of a window. Maybe that's too light. Let's see if we can get a bit more ink out of this. Just a bit more. Yeah, okay. Now, is it typical to put detail in as you go? You can do whatever you like when it's your sketchbook, of course. But we're going to kind of focus as we do this. Now, let's fill in the iris / pupil. I think it's fun to say that word / symbol. And by that I mean that line that goes from like bottom left to right. /. Like the guitarist. I don't know. That's kind of fun. I don't know. I like to say that. Okay. Again, working outrageous little bits of detail and building a structure of an eye. And somehow we're going to get a duck out of this. That's going to be the weird thing. That whole business of make your dreams come true. There's something about that I find kind of unreasonable. I have dreams, of course. But I'll be honest with you, I feel like in a lot of ways, the life I have compared to the life I had, as in could be a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, even my childhood, I wouldn't have guessed that my life would be what it is. Could it be better? Well, I think everyone's life could kind of be better, but it's not about money. Uh, it's not really about uh, stuff. There's all kinds of stuff out there. And I think there is no real benefit to stuff sometimes. So I think wealth is what you have on you at the moment, if you want to truly count what your wealth is. So that could be, are you wearing a watch that if you had to liquidate, that could be included in wealth in some ways. What's in a bank is not wealth because it's not in your hand. Your health, your health is wealth. Your ability to move, have an opinion about something, that's kind of with wealth as well, I think. Oh, and by the way, I don't expect that this is going to look like any real duck. I'm kind of building this as I go. I'm going to let some of the down or little feathers fall out over the bridge of the beak, the nose of the duck. For fun, let's twist in a little nostril here. I find that time, for the most part, kind of moves slow. While it's going, and it moves quick when it's gone. And as you get older, you seem to notice that a bit more. Do we need brows? Does a duck have a brow? Let's push the brow up a little bit. I don't understand how, for so many people, their dreams or a dream is sold to them. I understand the concept of buying, let's say, certain luxury items, handbags, uh, even like pens. I understand that wanting to own something uh, is treated a certain way. But I don't know if people have an understanding of the value of why that thing might be worth something. And when you find out that people that have money, they have no interest in owning that thing, that handbag, that whatever, it makes you question, why do you value that thing in the first place? It's an oddity. When you think that so much of what we value has to do with time and how much time went into that thing. So that handbag or what have you, and I don't know why I'm picking on the handbag. Um, you have to imagine that perhaps it was constructed by an artisan whose skill set might be considered rare. That rarity is something that you would value. Perhaps I'm wrong in my thinking. That name recognition plus the time of the artisan is supposed to be what you're paying for. Some people find out that that special item that they've paid an exceptional amount of money for is made in a factory with the same amount of care that goes into other things with less brand name recognition, but the same amount of time goes into them. And what a grand disappointment that turns into when you find that out. Same artisans, putting in time. I may have told this story on my little channel before that I went to a flea market, and at that flea market, I saw somebody with a wood carving. And I knew as soon as I saw it that it was one that I had made. And this person had this wonderful story, just like a outrageous story about the person who made it, whose hands were failing. Now, mind you, at this point, I'm probably in my early or mid 20s. And anyway, so let me get back to the story. They had this beautiful, elaborate story of this old wood carver whose hands and health were failing, and that this would be amongst the last things that this person produced. I knew exactly who made it, of course, because as I said, I was the person who made it. And the amount of money that they were charging for this thing, considering that I gave it away to somebody, was shocking to me. And, you know, I just find that funny. The story was being used to sell this thing. Oh well. I did tell them that I was the one who made it, and they said, well, I guess so, but that was the story that they got when they got it from, you know, the estate sale or what have you. So I don't believe they corrected the story anyway. I didn't stick around to find that out. Anyway, getting back to luxury brands. Luxury brands. What is the point? I feel it's possible that certain things are created specifically to create envy. And don't actually represent artistry. And I feel it's possible that so many people, when looking for that dream, they're looking for that item that makes them look as if they have, you know, money and wealth and influence and whatnot. And that's sort of another reason why the dupes exist, the fakes. You know, you want to look like that part. It's a little odd. Now, I know this looks a little less like a rubber duck. Next, we don't need to have a neck because we are kind of hunkering down. So, if this is where this creature is closer to us, the body will be further away. Let's see what happens. Back it out a little bit. So, head is roughly this big. I can sink in the cheek here a little bit if I wish. This isn't a regular canard by any means. Let's go with the body here. And we'll have a spot where it will kind of make its way into the water a little bit. Part of a duck's buoyancy has to do with the way that their fur, listen to me talk, their feathers might excrete some oils. And oil, of course, and water don't really mix. Some of it could be that they're very light, hollow-boned creatures that birds are. That helps with the buoyancy. The wings are going to end up looking kind of small here. That reminds me, where did I put that? I showed you this a few days ago. This is a loony that has a loon on it. That's a cool duck. Anyway, not really a reference by any means. Let's now work on the tail feathers. I'll probably go, let's see, little fuzzy tail feathers. What strange creatures ducks are. Do you have a favorite of the ducks in the cartoon world? Donald or Daffy or Howard or Darkwing? I'm going to do something here for fun in a moment. I'm going to put in some little lines like that. And because it's a duck, cup, water, brush. I'm going to drag out some of this ink just a little bit. And back here, Oh, I'm going to need more ink. Oh, yes. Okay. Put in a hidden leg here. One that will trail back just a little bit. Only we will know that there's a web foot back there. Let's go with a little bit more of that bill out front. In a fun little reflection. Not too complicated. Now from that little shadow there and that shadow there, that's more shadow, this is more reflection. I may add a little bit of detail, some murkiness, but before I do that, clean the brush. Set the cup on the floor so that I do not trick myself into a mess. It's funny that I said fur, referring to the down, to the feathers of the duck. If you've been here before, you probably know I don't follow a script. I don't pre-plan. I don't pre-pencil. I just pick up a pen and make a little mess, and I do it all in one take. And I do that mainly because I'm okay with making those little mistakes. And when I do make those little mistakes, well, if I can fix it, that's fine. If I can't, I just live with it because in my little sketchbook, it doesn't bother me as much. I might revisit it, of course. I'm human, but I think the point is being human. You could put in a prompt in, one of those AI devices, and you'll get something that's way better than this, and probably in just a couple of seconds. But it won't be me that did it. It won't be you. Being good at writing prompts is not the same as picking up a pen, getting paper. The machine doesn't want to do you any favors, I believe. I think it's unfortunate that beyond looking to make androids, that we would want to make machines more autonomous and have control over what human beings are up to look into what human beings are up to. For now, there's oversight. For now, there are people, hopefully, when things are brought to their attention, that they can act on the intelligence that has been gathered. Doesn't always work out that way, though. Sometimes a person can be flagged by the machine. Again, for now, there's a human being that still has to intervene. But the machine can watch if it feels like. Strange. I almost feel like it needs something else before I'm done with it. It's, just over 25 minutes. Perhaps a little bit more. Wing business. Interesting. I'm going to do something just for fun. I have my good friend, the bunny pen, who can look around. And with that, I'm going to do, for my own liking, a little bit of yellow around the edges. And I think that tricks the brain because your brain can pull colors out without having to go all through it. Your brain's kind of funny. It fills in gaps and, well, depending on, your familiarity with certain words, your brain will fill in gaps. And you'll see more color than what's actually there. Or you'll remember things way better than was actually given to you. How funny is that? Details that you thought for sure were there, not actually. There's some people that can look at a page in a book just quickly and can get the information off that page photographically. That's pretty remarkable. There are people that see music, sort of a synesthesia, I believe it's called. Some people might have even seen in their heads, before I did anything with this, whoa, look at that. They would have already seen the duck as being yellow. How cool is that? Right now I'm putting in just little hint. Ooh, some of it went a little heavier. Little hints of blue. Next, orange. Same with this, same treatment. Just kind of around the edge, maybe in some of the shadow workings. And we'll finish up here soon. I hope you are each playing around in your sketchbooks as well. You don't have to be doing the same things, but I think it's very important to combat the AI and do it yourself. Because there will probably be a point where somebody will say to you, how did they do this thing? Was it Tartaria or whatnot? Because human beings are not capable of artwork. Now under here, a little web foot. Back here, a little web foot. Well, I think that's really it for international or national or whatever sort of thing it's supposed to be, but it's Rubber Duck Day. Rubber Ducky Day. January the 13th. All right. Did what I could do. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a wonderful day. Come back again if you wish. We'll draw some more silly things. And yeah, have a great day. Ciao for now. Wah, wah.